It's the Metro on WDET-FM. I'm Tia Graham. It was medals galore for the U.S. Winter Olympics teams. The squads across all sports like skiing, bobsledding, figure skating, and of course hockey brought home the second highest total medals of any country with 33. To achieve that, many of these athletes dedicate their lives to perfecting their craft, spending years primarily focused on being the best they can at their sport. As we look back at the 2026 Winter Olympics, we're looking toward Women's History Month and highlighting the dedication of the women athletes who triumphed in Italy these last couple of weeks. Keitra Armstrong is a professor of sports management at the University of Michigan, and Professor Armstrong joins us now. Welcome back to the Metro.
Yes, thank you so much. It's truly my pleasure to have these conversations.
Oh, thank you for being here. But Professor Armstrong, how much of the Olympics were you able to catch?
Listen, I was an Olympic junkie. I watched it in the morning, and even though I knew it was going to be telecast again in the evening during prime time, I watched it again, and it was just as exciting as I was seeing it for the first time. So I was definitely hooked on the Winter Olympic Games.
Yes. And so among Team USA, the women won more medals than men, and it has been that way for a few Olympic cycles now. And we've seen what international success has done from some sports like soccer, of course, and basketball. What kind of impact does success on this stage potentially have?
You know, the ripple effects and the downwind effects of what these women accomplish, it's incredible. First and foremost, it's such a showcase and highlight that glorifies girl magic. That's what we're seeing, like girl power, because the women, you know, that you're right, they outperformed the men. They had more gold medals than the men, and that didn't go unnoticed because even with the media exposure, there were more women events highlighted during prime time. And so what it does, it shows people the potential and the possibilities of what happens when you work hard and when you're dedicated and when you have the courage to try to beat the odds and exceed the odds. And it's an inspiration. And the best thing, it's an inspiration far beyond the fields of competition. I mean, girls and women all throughout the world are inspiring. Those who don't have an athletic bone in their body, they're trying to reach inside and find that Olympian inside of them to do better, to be more, and to live their best lives. So it's such a showcase of talent. It's such a showcase of success on a high level, and it's inspirational.
Now, Professor Armstrong, let's start with the U.S. women's hockey team. With about 2 minutes left in the game, the U.S. scored a late goal to tie the game and go into overtime. 5 minutes into sudden death, a 3-on-3 match happened. Here's that little clip here.
As Canada gets fresh skaters on the ice. The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero, United States, wins gold in Milan.
I mean, nothing gets better than hearing hockey announcers or even soccer announcers, but Megan Keller from Farmington, Michigan avoids a defender and scores the game-winning goal. Professor Armstrong, you have been in some high-pressure moments yourself. Talk about the mental focus it takes to deliver when your team needs you the most.
You know what? It is such I don't even know if the word has been invented that will accurately describe what that emotion does, because if it doesn't penetrate you deep down in your soul, even if you don't like soccer, you don't know hockey, you don't even know sports, you have to feel something because it resonates with the soul of humanity. That's what that does. And so when you think about what does it take to overcome and to still stay in a place of calm when you're in these high-pressure situations, honestly, you just have to get into a zone of one. You have to get into a zone where you're so locked in and you believe in what you're doing, you're confident in your training, you have faith in your purpose, and honestly, you just get into that zone and nothing else matters but that moment. And having been a former athlete and a coach myself,
Yes.
It feels good when you're in that zone. Like nothing else matters. It's just like, you're in that space where you're one with yourself. Your skills are seemingly able to carry you where they need to go. I tell you what, it's such an electrifying feeling, but it's getting in the zone. It's strictly getting into that mental zone where you trust your training, you have faith in your purpose, and you believe that that moment is going to allow you to meet it and in some cases exceed it.
Yeah. Okay, so the women's hockey team, of course, they won their gold medal. The men's team also won gold medals.
Mm-hmm.
Both happened in overtime. And this is the team's third gold medal, and they have been in the gold medal match sparring with Canada since women's hockey was introduced to the Olympics in 1998. This is clearly a program at the top of its game. However, according to a 2024 Gallup poll, hockey is America's fifth favorite sport to watch. What will it take for it to become more popular? Is that even realistic?
It is realistic, and I tell you, one of the things that helps is the performance that we just witnessed by our USA women's team at the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Because, in fact, more people, again, they didn't even understand hockey, but they tune in to hear the excitement. Like, what's the hype? There are many people who tune in to see the hype. And I do think that it is going to spill over into helping, hockey have a greater position in the culture of our society. Hockey is Canada's sport.
Yes.
Right. And in the U.S., we celebrate, basketball and football, but soccer is the world-known sport. So what has to happen is we have to socialize our consumers into what hockey is, helping them to understand the game. But we also need feeder programs to get little girls involved in it. Yeah. But I think it's going to change. We have a professional hockey league. They've added 2 teams. And I do think that sort of energy is going to grow. And I tell you what else is really exciting to me. Mm-hmm. There's a Black Girl Hockey Club.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So it's not just hockey in general for women, but there's efforts afloat to get Black women and Black girls involved in hockey. So in answer to your question, what it's going to take is a concerted effort, an integrated effort at the high school level and youth sports and with visibility. And I think, oftentimes we don't support things we don't understand. Yeah. And if it's not a part of our cultural set, if it's not a part of our socialization, then we won't tune in. And so the challenge for the marketers and the managers of the hockey league is to socialize us, to educate us, to inspire us, and to make us want to be consumers. Honestly, I think it's going to happen.
I'm fingers crossed because we're just seeing the sport expand, women's hockey. We're seeing it expand across the country. National League is a possibility to really start to expand and take hold in this country. So really want to see women's hockey kind of take center stage. But you're listening to the Metro on 101.9 WDET. I'm Tia Graham. My guest is Keitra Armstrong, professor of sports management at the University of Michigan, and we're talking about the triumphs of women champions at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Now, Professor Armstrong, there has been a lot of conversations right now surrounding a video of President Trump on the phone with the U.S. men's hockey team shortly after their win, and he's inviting them to the State of the Union, and it's believed he also says that he has to invite the women's team to, or the Democrats will impeach him. What are your thoughts on this particular discourse?
See, now you're about to get me fired. I'm just saying. Listen, when people, you've heard this before, when people show you who they are, believe them. When they tell us who they are, believe them. He has shown us in many regards how he feels about gender equity and gender equality, and we know that there's been some misogynist type of commentary that has been attributed to him before. So it's not surprising, but it is disappointing that we're in a moment, this moment where our women have accomplished something so great. And I would hope that the leader of the country would want to celebrate that authentically, organically, and not because it's something that he feels that he's required to do or he's mandated to do for public sentiment. So it's disappointing. It's really disappointing. But listen, what I love is that one of the things that women, we've long had been required to do is we do what we do without permission, without asking anyone to accept us. And what I love about the women's team is they're doing them, they're being them, and they're not really worried about not being invited. But I do think it's disappointing because it is something that what they've accomplished is something that our entire country should be celebrating, regardless of your race, your nationality, your gender, your sexual orientation, because we just saw success. We just saw winning at its finest. And if nothing else, that should be celebrated.
And I do want to spotlight Elena Myers-Taylor. She won gold for the mono bobsled at the age of 41. So talk about women just doing whatever they want to do. She is one of the most decorated bobsledders in history. She has 4 Olympics, 12 world championships, and 14 international medals under her belt. Talk about how difficult longevity can be in sports.
It is, participating in sport, it is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak in mind, and it's not for the frail bodies. Because it is so taxing, But I find that I'm going to shift a little bit, particularly for Black women. For Black women, it's once I said we're like trees. Nobody teaches us how to be strong, but life just requires it. So when the winds blow towards us, we just dig deep and rely on our roots, and we stand tall. And so we have to do a lot of things, without fanfare, without permission, without acknowledgement. And so because of that, I think it breeds a resilience. So when we talk about Black girl magic, that's what we just saw with her, Black girl magic. And not only that, like, she has a real life, like being a mother, and being an entrepreneur and all of these things. But listen, people don't realize the toll that it takes. But I think we also know that, kite rises against the wind, right? And so what we're seeing is she's battling the odds, but she's doing so with grace. She does so with such grace and such intentionality, and that's what we love. And you're right, her story is truly amazing for anyone because she shows the multiplicity of what success looks like when it's packaged in a Black female body. Yeah. She's doing it all. And I just think it's so incredible the way in which she does it. She doesn't make excuses. She just keeps going, and honestly, she makes the moment meet her. And that's what I love about her.
Professor Armstrong, in about 30 seconds or so, when we had you on, we always talk about the growth in women's sports. The reality is that every sport won't be as popular as soccer and basketball. In your opinion, what is the optimal amount of growth in women's sports you'd like to see, even in niche sports?
You know what? I want to see all sports grow into a place where they have a critical mass. Mm-hmm. There's some people who won't like basketball, like you mentioned. Some people won't like tennis. They won't like hockey, won't like soccer. But sport is such a powerful vessel for life learning. It teaches us resilience. It teaches us confidence. It helps us to know how to win, how to lose gracefully. And so when we're talking about growth, I think that girls and women through every corner of our country should have the opportunity to participate in sports, and it shouldn't be limited by the environment that they live in, the high school that they went to. So in answer to your question, I want there to be a wealth of opportunity to satiate the appetite that we all may have for sport and physical activity.
Keitra Armstrong is a professor of sports management at the University of Michigan. I want to say thank you for joining us on the Metro today and talking a little bit about the women of the 2026 Winter Olympics.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
The Metro is produced by Sam Corey, Carey Jr. II, Robin Vincent, and me, Tia Graham. Our engineer is Jose Yanis. Music done by Sam Bobian, and our senior producer is David Lyons. The Metro is a production of WDET, a listener-supported service of Wayne State University, and this is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. You all have a great day.